Sweet and juicy peaches, $2.49 per pound. Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Lay's potato chips, 6.5-ounce bag, only $3.79. Crisco vegetable oil, 32-ounce bottle, only $4.29. Select varieties of Friendly's ice cream, 48-ounce, hot price, only $4.65. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Broadcasting News. It's Tuesday, the 3rd of July. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. A party in turmoil that's having difficulty finding its way in the aftermath of a massive election defeat. That's the situation of the One Bermuda Alliance, according to former leader Craig Cannonier. Speaking with Gary Moreno, Mr. Cannonier explained what he sees as the issues affecting the OBA as it remains in recovery mode a year after the election.
What we're seeing right now is the OBA trying to wrestle with what it needs to do in order to be viable and in order to move forward.
Mr. Cannonier was at the time speaking with us about the party's choice of candidate for the by-election in constituency number 25, Warwick North East, Justin Matthias. He was chosen over a number of party members who'd previously contested general or by-elections and so would have been better qualified. Party leader Jean Atherton suggested at that time the decision was based on a new approach to attract new blood. Mr. Cannonier, though, sees things differently.
These are symptoms of a party who is looking to find itself and to make sure that it identifies and that the public identifies with it as well. That's the struggle that you see going on.
Just yesterday, we learned Mr. Matthias as the new OBA chairman and that he and Andrew Simons will be replaced in the Senate by Robin Swan and longtime OBA member but newcomer to frontline politics, Victoria Cunningham. We asked Mr. Cannonier prior to these announcements being made whether the OBA trying to attract new blood, as the party leader put it, as it seeks to once again become a viable option, is the correct approach.
The OBA as a party was founded on the fact that we wanted to come together. There were different voices coming together, and I don't think that some of the voices in the room feel like the message is being heard. So until we sort those things out, this is not something that's new. We've seen the PLP go through it. We saw the UBP go through it. Unfortunately, I'm seeing the OBA go through it. We need to hurry up and get ourselves together. That's the bottom line.
Mr. Cannonier is adamant the former OBA government did a lot of good for this country, and another OBA government could do even more. But as he put it, the party must first get its house in order. So what then is preventing the party from once again being a united entity?
There's no secret behind the fact that we feel that certain things need to happen, that there needs to be a certain kind of leader leading the party right now. We have an interim, if you will, leader, and I think that she is attempting to do the best that she can in the areas that she does do well in. But the party now is saying, okay, what do we now do next? And that message is very clear amongst those within the BDA.
What is that?
We need to find leadership going forward that's going to bring about a cohesive message.
So then, who are some of the names which should become part of OBA history?
Well, I'm not going to get into the names. I think it's rather clear that we want to see certain people within the OBA move on. They've been around for a while. They've added to the, again, all of the MPs that I work with are brilliant. They actually do a fantastic job. To lose some of that intellectual capital will be difficult to replace. No question about it, but we have to move forward. And so I'm not here to decide on the particular names or individuals that need to move on. Some may feel I need to move on, but that needs to be a decision made by a cohesive body within the OBA.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news, U.S. accountancy firm Deloitte has been accused of covering up the alleged attempted rape of a female staff member from its Bermuda office. An Australian newspaper, the Australian Financial Review, reports that a senior partner from New York is alleged by the woman to have carried out the assault, and she's accused the company of interfering in the subsequent police investigation. This comes after our report last week that a former Deloitte employee in Bermuda alleged she was sexually assaulted by a male colleague. Once again, Gary Moreno reports.
Details were somewhat sketchy when we first reported the story last week. Now, a new report in the Australian Financial Times reveals that the Bermuda Police Service looked into the alleged August 2015 attack and concluded there was enough evidence to question the senior male partner when he next made one of his regular visits to the country. The Australian company states once Deloitte US was alerted that the woman had made a police statement about the alleged assault, the partner stopped traveling to Bermuda. In this case, there is also an issue about how to prove what happened in a hotel room at 2 a.m., especially given the alleged victim didn't raise the alarm for some time with her employer or the police and did not immediately seek medical treatment. However, the victim is quoted as saying her experience was being treated as a threat to the firm and pushed out while the partner was protected. As we reported last week, Deloitte disputed the woman's allegations in a statement which said the firm had promptly engaged an outside law firm to conduct an independent investigation. The Australian publication indicates Deloitte said its investigation found many of the allegations were contradicted by witnesses, but admitted that its external counsel did not interview the woman. The woman was reportedly one of a number of staff invited to after-work drinks by the New York partner on August 20th, 2015. The evening is said to have ended at around 2 a.m., with the man insisting that the woman come up to his room on a pretext linked to her work at the firm. The woman told police the partner blocked the door and attacked her after they entered the room. She reportedly suffered bruises to her arms and chest as well as cuts during the incident. It is understood the man gave a markedly different version of events to Deloitte. The woman eventually made a report to the police and the matter was handed over to the DPP's office, where prosecutors decided the case met the basic standard for it to move forward, but more information was needed. In particular, the New York partner needed to be interviewed. A Bermuda Police Service spokesman telling us that in 2015, a businesswoman made a report of sexual assault after an incident involving a fellow male worker took place. The victim initially reported the matter internally to her company sometime before reporting it to the police. The BPS, a spokesman said, takes all matters of this nature very seriously and immediately commenced a comprehensive investigation. The matter was fully investigated by the Bermuda Police Service and a file was prepared and sent on to the Department of Public Prosecutions. The file has been extensively reviewed by that department. The suspect resides in another jurisdiction and there is currently insufficient grounds to satisfy an extradition request. As such, the matter is held in abeyance. Elsewhere, Deloitte reportedly made the woman redundant while also agreeing to undertake a formal investigation into the alleged attack. She was reportedly subsequently told the investigation into her allegations had reached an inconclusive finding and that the New York partner would not be disciplined. Despite promises that she would be interviewed, the external counsel looking into the matter never contacted her. The woman said the way in which the firm dealt with her situation was in direct contrast to the way it represents itself publicly around the world.
And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
Price Red is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce. And an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
I didn't order this one. This is the wrong item.
What? These are the wrong size.
I wanted white pants for the white party.
These are way too big.
Oh my gosh, this is not what I ordered.
Finally in Bermuda, announcing Mailboxes Unlimited's Internet Return Hub. Now for an 85% savings. No matter how you brought your items into Bermuda, you can return your items back to the U.S. easily. Mailboxes Unlimited's Internet Return Hub. Stop by today.
Body good and you're special to me. Want make you my lady officially.
If I want thing, me hate a fern killer. Me no believe in a fern killer. Family, and me say family. Love me to the end, but none of them are close to me like the most high. Tell about cha-cha, cha-cha. None of them are close to me like the most high. Tell about cha-cha. Ain't no one can love you like I do. There is no one to love you like I do. Come on, lady. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? You you feel like a bad man, keep it to yourself. Don't bring it to Jamaica, keep it to yourself.
Welcome back. Well, the government has boosted the island's corrections service by 15 new officers amid concerns the service is understaffed. Last week, Gary Moreno revealed that the Prison Officers Association said their members faced numerous safety issues due to staff shortages. The officers' concerns go back many years, with Shadow National Security Minister Michael Dunkley saying his government had made efforts despite financial constraints.
I know the population was running, just over 200 with a maximum capacity of just about double that. And we're trying to look if we could be more efficient in housing them and making sure they got the programs they required. And all that's important. But when safety becomes an issue, when the age of the facility and the lack of maintenance become an issue, and prison officers are more stressed than they need to be to do their job, you have to pay attention to that. And that's one of the reasons why I tried to get on the ground. We weren't perfect, but I think we made some progress. And I think it's because of these rumors that I'm hearing, and the conversations with me are becoming more prolific, with people calling, reaching out to me. I think it behooves the minister to come clean and state what's going on up there, on how we're going to address some of these challenges. We just added another twist to the challenge of incarceration with the movement of mental health patients into a facility that is made for young males and for females, and so that causes another stress that we have to have.
In response, National Security Minister Wayne Kane said he was aware of the issues affecting officers and had already met with the Acting Commissioner for Corrections to formulate a strategy to turn things around. The minister said he would have shared his plans for a resolution with Prison Officers Association head Tim Sion, but Mr. Sion did not attend a meeting. Mr. Keynes expressed his disappointment that the association did not share their concerns with him first, adding that his door is always open to the POA. Turning to weather news, and after a mixed day, sunnier conditions are on the way. Here's our latest AccuWeather forecast.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and hopefully you're having a great Tuesday. Pretty decent day outside, but looking at the radar, you might think otherwise. We're actually going to be watching this disturbance to our south over the next couple of days. At this point, tropical development very low. Over the next 3 days, only a less than 50% chance of development, so we're really not concerned about it, but of course it's close to us, so it's something we will have to keep our eye on as we head toward the weekend. But right now it is well off to our south. That's where all the showers and thunderstorms are. Beautiful day outside for today. Temperatures still sitting right around 80 degrees, so if you have any plans through this evening, you're a-okay with that. Humidity still up there though. We have winds coming in out of the southeast, 10 to 15 knots, slightly breezy outside. The water temperature sitting at 82 degrees. And the next couple of days, if you're here for vacation, not a bad spot to be. We'll have a couple of spotty showers around tonight and tomorrow, but besides that, things are looking relatively nice to be out there on the water. Waves outside of the reef, a little bit choppy, running between 3 and 6 feet. As always, we like to tell you about our marine alerts. We usually post them right here for you, and the only thing that we had going for us is a small craft warning through this evening, so I didn't include that there, but know that there are some choppy conditions, again, outside of the reef. Our high tide comes in just after 1:15 in the morning, and our low tide coming in this evening at around 6:40 tonight. All right, here's the forecast for the rest of this evening. 74 degrees for the low temperature, mostly cloudy and breezy. We'll allow for a few spotty showers, but again, most of the action is well off to our south. I'm talking hundreds of miles away from Bermuda. For tomorrow, 82 degrees for your high temperature. We'll have a few peaks of sunshine. It's not going to be a mostly sunny day, and we'll still allow for a couple of showers around throughout the day tomorrow. Let's take a look at our futurecast and see what we can expect as we get closer toward the weekend. We mentioned that disturbance that's just off to our south. You can make out this kind of green globish area. Watch as we fast forward into the weekend. You start to see a center of circulation develop. This is going to be working its way toward the East Coast. Again, we're not expecting any issues for us, but still close enough that we have to keep our eye on that over the next couple of days. Here's a look at your gateway forecast. Toronto, sunny and hot. We'll see some slightly cooler temperatures along the I-95 corridor. 85 in New York City for tomorrow, also 85 in Boston. No tropical development, but stormy at times for Jamaica, Barbados, and also into Trinidad. Your extended forecast, couple of showers on Wednesday, and then get outside and enjoy the water. A nice stretch of weather here Thursday, Friday, also into Saturday with clouds and sunshine. At the end of the weekend, we could see some showers around with a high of 83.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
It's hurricane season. Here are some tips from BF&M. Before a storm, make sure you have a family plan. Stock up on food and water and protect your home. Board up and make sure your insurance policies are up to date. After a storm, check everyone's safety, especially seniors. Inspect your property and secure from further damage. Then note the damages, list, and take photos. Remember, you can always count on BF&M 24/7 during hurricane season and all year round.
Attention neighbors, I just got a great night's sleep on my Beauty Rest mattress, so I'm feeling refreshed, recharged, and ready to go. This means for the next 24 hours, I will be a coiled cobra of energy and enthusiasm, ready to strike. 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 That is all. Ready to strike.
At Dreams, we don't just sell mattresses so you can get better sleep. We do it so you can be awake. Dreams, the mattress professionals.
And a very important health alert. Senior health officials are warning of the dangers of a measles outbreak on the island. Just 65% of children get a second dose of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine in Bermuda, with experts saying 2 doses are needed to provide full protection to children. Measles is a highly contagious disease with severe complications, which can cause brain injuries and even death. Hal Davis reports.
It's a scourge that was once on the verge of being eradicated. Not long ago, measles, like polio before it, was set to disappear from many countries. But not anymore.
The number of measles cases linked to the Disneyland theme park continues to grow.
Doctors weigh in and sound the alarm. We thought we had measles essentially licked.
In the year 2000, just 37 measles cases were reported in the United States. By 2014, that had jumped to 667. Europe was even worse affected, with almost 15,000 cases reported last year. And senior figures at the Department of Health warn measles is so contagious that Bermuda could be next.
I am concerned that we have a lot of people who travel and a lot of people who come to Bermuda. And if the outbreaks are occurring in those other areas, it's only a matter of time.
That's despite what Ms. Jackson calls a very safe and effective vaccine. Department of Health figures show that about 87% of children in Bermuda get the first vaccination against measles at about 1 year old. But just 65% get the second at around 4 years old, seen as essential to providing full protection, and that's far too low.
You need 95% herd immunity, and that has been the biggest concern, is that over the years, people have not been vaccinating and taking the MMR as regularly and as to the high level that we want it to be and we need it to be. And so what you have is a pool of people that build up and they become very susceptible. That great pool becomes very vulnerable, and the bigger that pool gets, the more risk and the more likelihood of measles affecting someone within that pool.
A large part of the drop-off in vaccination rates is due to this man, Andrew Wakefield. In 1998, he wrote in the medical journal The Lancet of a possible link between the MMR vaccine and autism. With only 12 children in his study, it was quickly refuted.
That study has been completely debunked, and there have been ramifications for Dr. Wakefield because of that, losing his ability to practice medicine, having his MRCP as member of the Royal College of Physicians revoked by the Royal College in the UK. The Lancet has taken that paper out.
But Dr. West says despite the overwhelming evidence against the Lancet study and others like it, he still gets parents in his Hamilton clinic who don't want their children immunised. And such is the infection rate for measles, such unvaccinated children are at grave risk if an infected person arrives on the island.
If you are not protected against measles and you become exposed to it, 90% chance that you will come down with measles. The measles infection, the virus, is spread through droplets, respiratory droplets, and it can remain suspended in the air for 2 hours after the person has been in a situation. So you don't even need necessarily person-to-person contact.
And the risks are high. Around 30% of those infected with measles suffer complications, and they can be lethal. At least 57 people have died in Europe since the beginning of 2016. Bermuda's low vaccination rate could put the island on a similarly treacherous path. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thank you for bringing us that very important alert, Hal. In other news, it's no secret that Bermuda has some of the highest healthcare costs in the world, and they're rising. Health spending topped $11,000 per person in 2016. In 2007, it was $7,000. There's much to debate on how to change things, but everyone agrees something needs to be done. In the second half of her interview with the new CEO of the Bermuda Cancer and Health Center, Tony Waterman asked Lynn Woolwich whether healthcare in Bermuda needs to change from a for-profit model to a universal one.
Oh, now that is a loaded question, and you're not going to get me in trouble on that one. Yes, there does need to be an overhaul to the healthcare system, and it's been known for quite some time. And I think that's the job of the the Health Council, to work with all the stakeholders within the system, the payers, and just figure out exactly what has to be done. I don't think it's as simple as it's universal access to care and access to quality care, but I don't think we can throw around the terms of universal health care the way that it might be known about in other territories, other countries.
Is that because you think that model doesn't work here?
Well, for one thing, I lived in a country that had universal health care, and it was wonderful, but it was paid for through my income taxes. We don't have income taxes in Bermuda, and I don't think too many people want income taxes in Bermuda. So there are trade-offs. You have to figure out what it is you're willing to settle for in order to gain what you think is most important.
You talked a little bit about the demographics that Bermuda is up against. So there's the aging population, there's relatively low birth rate, older people tend to have more illnesses, need more treatment. How do you see this going forward under the current model?
So the first thing to do is to make sure that people stay as healthy as possible for as long as possible, to ensure that people, age well at home and aren't admitted to institutions and things like that. But yeah, there is a challenge. It does look to be a tsunami of problems approaching us with the low birth rate, the low contribution into the system, and the high costs going out. I don't have the answer. What I do know is that I and the center and the team here is willing to work with those who are working on those big picture problems. And I think we can take some encouragement that we're not alone in this. This is pretty universal. And so when we work with our partners in North America and in the Caribbean with PAHO and WHO, hopefully we can come up with something that will work best for Bermuda. And it's not just an issue for our healthcare costs. I mean, it's our pension costs and all those other things. So, too few dollars chasing too many people.
You've spent 30 plus years in the insurance and reinsurance industry. Do you think that health insurers need to be more closely regulated?
I was on the life insurance side, so I'm not as well versed on the health side. But I think that what we're seeing globally is that there's a move towards better regulation, more sound regulation, and certainly it's not regulation that's just imposed. It's a regulation that's sort of developed in conjunction with all the stakeholders. And so I think, the regulators kind of indicate what it is they want to accomplish, and the insurers and other partners kind of indicate, what's reasonable and what makes sense. You can do a whole bunch of things if you have tons of money to throw after it, but if you don't, you have to come up with some common sense approaches to it. So, regulation is a good thing when it's done well and done efficiently.
Will regulation bring down cost?
It can. It can. It all depends on what it is you're trying to achieve. You can put in some pretty draconian regulations, but it may not, you may not achieve what you're originally aiming for, or there can be some unintended consequences.
And still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
Fresh blueberries, 1-pint package, hot price $3.99. Fresh Purdue chicken thighs, just $1.99 per pound. Freshly baked hamburger or hot dog rolls, 8-pack, hot price $3.99. Kellogg's single-serve breakfast cereal, 1.5-ounce cup, only $1.39. Arm & Hammer liquid laundry detergent, 50-ounce, hot price $5.70. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Who will raise the title as FIFA 28 World Cup champions? Witness all the action as 32 teams go head-to-head for a supremacy for the coveted title. Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to present 2018 FIFA World Cup live from Russia from June 14th through July 15th. Join us for the 21st edition of this historical event, exclusively on ZFB TV7 and ZBM TV9. Keep it locked in for all 64 games that include pre-game and halftime shows and much more. 2018 FIFA World Cup live from Russia is brought to you by Colonial Group International, Butterfield, Lindo's Group of Companies, and Bermuda Motors.
Magic System, Red One, Shaoki.
Here's the rest of the day's sports news with Earl Basin.
Kamau Lavrock finally saw action in the Canadian Global 2020 tournament yesterday. Lavrock was in action for the Vancouver Knights in their 18-run victory over the Montreal Tigers in the Global 2020 Canada match in King City. Batting first, Vancouver Knights would score 166 for 6. Lavrock, batting at the number 7 position, would score 5 off of 8 deliveries. In reply, the Montreal Tigers were bowled out for 148. Lavrock bowled an over. He gave up 7 runs. Bermuda's medal count now reached 23 after they won a total of 7 medals on day 4 of the CC Can Swimming Championships going on in Aruba. During the 13-14 girls 200-meter IM, Peyton Zaukin won the silver medal when she touched the water in a time of 2:29.77. In the 11-12 girls 50-meter breaststroke, Josephine Durden won the bronze medal with a time of 36 seconds flat. Sam Williamson would win the 13-14 boys 50-meter breaststroke silver medal, touching the wall in a time of 31:54. Logan Watson-Brown won the silver medal during the 13-14 girls 100-meter freestyle, touching the wall in a time of 58:82. Madeleine Moore won the silver medal during the 15-17 girls 100-meter freestyle, and she touched the wall in a time of 58:40. Kai Legban captured the 15-17 boys 100-meter freestyle gold medal with a time of 52:28. Jesse Washington won the bronze medal competing in the boys 18 and over 100-meter freestyle final with a time of 51:75. We spoke with Daniel Phillips's undefeated run on the Caribbean Junior Tennis Circuit continued as he continued competing in the Bahamas at the Junkanoo Bowl qualifiers. Playing in the under-14 boys division, Phillips defeated his doubles partner, Jaden De La Fonte, from Curacao in straight sets 4-1, 4-1. 32 goals were scored in the Bermuda inline ball hockey doubleheader at the PCC hockey rink last evening. 5 goals were scored in the opener with the Southampton Sailors edging the Tuckerstown Tropics 3-2. The Sailors would take the lead in the first period with a goal off the stick of Townie Jackson. Shannon Goss would score twice in the second period to give the Tuckerstown Tropics a 2-1 lead going into the final period. The Southampton Sailors would get a goal from Chris Grantier and Craig Rawat, and they would come from behind to win 3-2. In the nightcap, the St. David's Islanders would defeat the Warwick Waves 12-5. Bermuda Broadcasting Sports previously reported speculation had increased on the foiling catamarans used in last year's America's Cup in Bermuda being modified for a new professional world circuit backed by American billionaire Larry Ellison. The well-connected Tom Eamon in the United States ramped up details of the secretive series on his weekly talk show, Sailing Illustrated. However, we can report the speculation comes to a surprise by Bermuda officials who have not been informed that Bermuda is a location of interest. We spoke with 3 people who, if anything of this nature was coming to Bermuda, would or should be informed. The Minister of Sports, Michael Weeks, Jamal Simmons, the Minister of Economic Development and Tourism, and Glenn Jones, Bermuda Tourism Authority Director of Strategy and Corporate Communications, were all in the dark when approached. We intend to keep you informed of any updates that may become a cost to the public. I'm Earl Basden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. Well, that's our newscast on this Tuesday night. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.